Well, hardly news in the sense that this was confirmed publicly, I think, during the course of the last 18 to 24 months. Of course, a lot of this has been lost in the context of the pandemic, but this is not a new item of defence spending or commitment for the ROC. It's confirmation in this report that looks forward as to how the United Kingdom is going to be structuring its defence of that which we already knew would be the case in the context of Trent being stationed around Gibraltar.
Any concerns that having an offshore patrol boat based here could feed into existing tensions surrounding incursions into British Gibraltar territorial waters?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, Trent is not going to be in Gibraltar or around Gibraltar, perhaps as often as we might like her to be. She is going to be doing work at the direction, of course, of the Defence Secretary and the Prime Minister in the context of the Mediterranean shore, in the context of the area of West Africa, etc. And she'll be coming into Gibraltar for the purposes of provisioning herself, etc., the role that Gibraltar has traditionally very successfully played for the Royal Navy, and therefore I see no reason why there should be any escalation of tension as a result of this particular re-announcement of what Trent will be doing in the area of the Mediterranean and North and Western Africa.
So no concerns either about this potentially having an impact on your negotiations with Spain over a future relationship?
Well, I think the government of Gibraltar, the government of the United Kingdom and the government of Spain have been able to do a very careful and difficult balance in reaching the equilibrium that is set out in the New Year's Eve agreement, in the framework. That is about bringing fluidity to the movement of people across our frontier, potentially movement of goods across our frontier, in a way that enables us to deal with the difficulties that Brexit has created. We need to ensure that that difficult work that we've done comes to fruition. It's not come to fruition yet in the negotiation of a treaty between the United Kingdom and the European Union. We've been doing a lot of work with the United Kingdom in preparing ourselves for that negotiation of a treaty. I know that Spanish negotiating colleagues have also been doing a lot of work to ensure that that which we believed on the 31st of December could be what saved the whole region from the worst effects of Brexit becomes a reality that does exactly that and is not in any way lost in the process of negotiation that's to follow.
And for you as Chief Minister, are there any security implications associated with having HMS Trent based here?
Well, again, I mean, as far as I've been led to understand, and I think as is set out clearly in the review, Trent isn't going to be in Gibraltar. She is going to be coming into Gibraltar for the purposes of her provisioning, etc. She'll be spending some downtime here. Will be a very welcome port, no doubt, for her crew, as usual, but her operations will not be in Gibraltar or in BGTW. Her operations will be on the Mediterranean, on the north and western shores of Africa. Those will be the issues that she is, we are told, being set out to deal with. No doubt if there were a need for her to provide some assistance in the area of Gibraltar, she would be available, but this is not an offensive move in the context of what we might consider to be our day-to-day. This is a positive demonstration of how Gibraltar is important to the infrastructure of defence of the United Kingdom and indeed of NATO and of Europe generally.
And finally, Chief Minister, are you satisfied with the references to Gibraltar in this defence review?
Well, I think the references to Gibraltar show that what we do for the United Kingdom is highly valued, that we have an important role in the infrastructure of defence that I referred to a moment ago, and that Gibraltar, through the centuries, has always had that strategic significance. Of course, as warfare changes, as the military look to the world through a different prism, the prism of satellites and the prism of electronic warfare, that may change again, but there's always a physical side to the military and the military projection of power. And as many governors have said to me and to you and to your viewers, Gibraltar is 1,500 miles up theatre towards the Mediterranean. That's not ever going to change.